Howdy listeners, welcome to the next episode of the Snows Camping Show. Just running into a few, well, not technical issues, a few cable issues here, which we've overcome just in time to get started. Joined by myself, Ben, and my colleague, Lauren. Welcome to another show. If you haven't already done so, you can subscribe to our show via YouTube, your favourite podcast app, and you can join in on the conversation with us and suppliers and all sorts of people in the community on our Facebook group, which is called Snowy's Camping Banter. So jump on, ask to join, and join in the conversation. Now, I've got another customer question episode today. So we put questions out on the Facebook group, and we also grab questions from, you spend a lot of time, or all your time just about, in customer service, so commonly asked questions, and we try and cover them in short, sharp, shiny episodes just to cover a topic, a problem, a friction point, something like that. So, so we've got our little stubby cooler of magic here, magic questions.
A chalice of goodness.
You can buy these on the Snowy's website, by the way. These are the best stubby coolers you'll ever buy. Or if you submit one of these questions and we end up answering it on our show, we'll send you one of these and the best stubby, not the best stubby, I stuffed that up. There's a big wind up and I messed it up. The best bumper sticker in the world, Ben. We'll send it to you. So I'm going to pull another question out of here. We've just refilled this. It's looking empty already, so we've already covered some. This is from Heather via the Facebook group. This is a recent one. I put a question out recently and Heather asked this question. I think Heather might have asked another question as well that we've already answered. So if we've doubled up, Heather, if there's not already a stubby cooler on the way.
I'm pretty sure, well, there could be more than one Heather in the world.
It could be. I'll have to check. I don't know.
Double check, but that's fine.
We do more than one episode in a day and we may have covered Heather already.
Yeah. So Heather, if we did already cover you, there's just the one stubby holder.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Thanks for the question.
We're on a budget.
So clothing recommendations for camping, including hats and shoes in different climates. Now, clothing's something we used to do at Snowy's a lot of, and footwear.
Ages ago.
We've gotten out of most of that. We still do some clothing, like the basics in terms of rainwear,
thermals
warmwear,
and rainwear.
Thermals and that sort of thing. We
but
still
very,
do
very basic.
From a brand called XTM.
And do we have some Rainbirds pants and stuff? Maybe.
No, I think it's all XTM stuff that we get in now, which is an Australian company called Cross the Mountain, so really good value stuff.
Nice.
But we can certainly give our 2 cents worth on what we wear camping.
I personally probably not the best person to comment on footwear because I'm a big barefoot person. When I'm camping. I love being barefoot. I don't mind it at all. I mean, I do have Crocs, which if you've been with us for a while, you would know that I have Crocs. But yeah, in different climates, look, realistically, it's just good old sort of slip-ons or barefoot. If it's wintry, still, I don't think I really would, if I'm camping and it's wintry. What do I wear on my feet? I have Blundstones. Mental blank. I have Blundstones. I have Crocs. I have barefoot. And I've also got some camp slippers, like some North Face camp slippers if it's really cold. But that's basically in my wheelhouse.
Okay. Well, shoes for me in the summer, always got a pair of flip-flops and probably some trail type running shoes, lightweight, breathable running shoes, not waterproof because they get hot and sticky. So something that breathes and something I could walk through water in and they're just kind of going to dry out pretty quickly if it's hot. In the colder weather, I would take – now I don't have Blundstones. I don't have slip-on shoes. Main reason being that I've got a pair of old Scarpa SLs.
Yeah, right.
That just last forever.
Yeah.
And I do like them for getting around the campsite. The only thing I wish is that they were slip-on so you can just pull them on and off easily. But I make do with the Scarpa SLs because you can be close to the campfire with a nice heavy-duty leather boot. So in winter, I would go for a heavy leather boot to get around the campsite. Probably Blundstones or something or similar would be a good scenario there for footwear.
I'm the sort of person, and I don't know about you, but I'm the sort of person who when I'm camping for a trip, I literally throw so many things in because I don't like the idea that I might only have one or two pair of shoes and find myself in a moment where I was like, oh, I wish I had something else. But I almost always do chuck a pair of trail runners in Because if you know, if you're going camping somewhere cool and maybe you want to go for a nice big walk or an adventure or there's some hikes around, even if that's not the primary goal, even sometimes if we're road tripping, like if we're driving 3 or 4 hours to get there might be a cool place on the way where you can stop and hike up something to a lookout or whatever, stretch your legs. So I always tend to have trail runners somewhere in the car or in the bag.
Yeah, when we did our extended trip, I got by with a pair of lightweight hikers. They're a running shoe, but it could be a lightweight hiking shoe as well.
Yep.
Not a waterproof one, and a pair of flip-flops or thongs.
I mean, the good thing about actually, I also have a pair of Tevas. Now I'm saying that I do take Tevas sometimes as well.
So you got this massive space in the back of your car for all of the clothes that you take?
No, but I think
I can't imagine you'd be a heavy packer.
No. Well, I'm not really a heavy packer in terms of clothing per se, but I am a heavy packer in terms of footwear. And I think that's probably because I have some quirks as an individual and I am.
Really?
Yeah, I'm very, sometimes I'm just like, I can't wear that or I can't wear this. So I need this. And it's very difficult to know in advance what I'm going to feel like wearing. So, but now that I've said that, if it's warm weather, I have Tevas, just the classic Velcro Tevas, right? But I take my Crocs if it's cooler weather because I wear chunky socks and Crocs as a slip-on. The thing that's cool about something like your Teva and your Crocs is that especially if you're staying somewhere at a caravan park, not that we stay at a caravan park very often, but if you're staying somewhere with communal bathrooms, can be really great to wear your Tevas in the shower, right?
Yep.
Or your Crocs in the shower or whatever. And I don't like wearing thongs because they make, I feel like they can come off your feet easily.
Okay.
Sometimes. So Crocs and Tevas are great action slip-on type doodads.
I get by with the flip-flops for that, but I can see how Crocs would be the same, that type of clothes.
Yeah.
The closed-toe shoe thing can be good if you're getting around in a more of a bush campsite because you can kick sticks and things and end up cutting your feet up. So if you've got a little bit of toe protection, it's good.
My folks actually use they're called Keen Newports.
Yep.
And they're essentially a waterproof pull-on sandal with a huge big toe bumper.
Yeah.
And they just rock those.
They're a good all-rounder.
Yeah, they're a great all-rounder.
What about the bottom half? I like shorts.
Me too.
I almost always wear shorts, but I still take a pair of pants for the colder evenings.
Yeah.
Now, jeans are pretty comfortable if they stay dry. If they get wet, they're a pain in the butt to get dry and they're cold.
I'm not a jeans person
for
camping anyway.
I generally don't take jeans. I'll take a pair of good nylon pants, something that will dry quickly, or lightweight cotton that will dry quickly.
Yeah.
But I try and get around in shorts as best I can and keep the warmth on the top if need be. But quite often in the evening I'll need something warmer to pull over the bottom, and I've got a pair of nylon pants that I've had for so long. They just go camping with me everywhere, and they often just come out in the evening on cold evenings.
Yeah. I don't I'm similar to you in that the fact that I wear shorts a lot of the time. Like I've just done the overland track, right, and I literally wore shorts the entire time. I think that for the most part, shorts during the day, T-shirt, usually just like a big comfy jumper and some tracky pants at night. But I do use cotton tracky pants. And I sometimes will have a couple of pair of those because I don't heaps like jeans. But because, especially if you're doing a lot of campfire cooking, I don't wear synthetics.
Mm-hmm. That's the only downside with synthetic.
Don't wear synthetic pants or anything. Like I do have like synthetic camp polar fleeces and things. But if I'm cooking, generally I don't have a jumper on because you're working over the fire. It's not hot, but I just cotton tracky pants really. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I take leggings as well, but again, not if I'm going to be around the campfire. The leggings is just more a little bit like adventure ready sort of type thing.
Yep. I will take thermals too. So quite often if I've got shorts, I can put thermals on underneath and have that whole thermals under the shorts look. I don't really care what people think, but that way I don't have to take long pants.
Yeah, and I think it's good to have a good mix and match. Like if it's warmer or mild weather, I'll often actually just take dresses. Chuck on a sundress because then I can chuck leggings on if it's cold, chuck a jumper over the top of that. You can chuck tracky pants on, T-shirt, just whatever's comfortable really.
Yep.
Like camping's not really a fashion statement.
No.
You just got to be comfortable. Think about what you feel comfortable in sitting around at camp. And to me, it's not just about what's going to keep you warm. It's also what's going to make you feel snuggly and good and happy, right?
We are taking this approach from just general having fun camping, not a technical trying to save weight and, sort of doing away with some comfort for that kind of just getting through it kind of scenario. This is going camping to feel comfortable.
Yeah, and I don't think – sorry, go on, Ben.
I was going to say you touch on the pajamas as well. I'd say just take what you wear at home. Don't get it wet if you've got cotton pajamas trying to get them wet, but why would you – if you're in a good sleeping bag, you're not going to get them wet anyway.
And I think there's lots of technical outdoor clothing out there, but you really just don't need it. Like I cannot think about a single time ever in my life as a camper where I've worn something that I wouldn't wear at home at all.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that you don't mind it getting dirty, for example, right? Especially if you're doing bush camping, maybe doing like campfire cooking or you're doing lots of exploring or adventures or you're getting really dusty and dirty, as long as you don't mind it getting dirty.
The getting wet and drying thing is the main consideration. Like jeans are comfortable till they get wet. I mean, if you're not in a warm environment, you're going to spend ages trying to dry those things out, or a big heavy cotton pullover, if that gets wet. I mean, if you're camping near a river or something, then it might get wet. If you're not actually anywhere or it's not raining, then it's not really an issue. But just have a think about, if this does get wet, am I able to just let that dry for 2 days and not wear it? And if it's cotton, it's probably going to stink after 2 days of trying to dry. It gets that musty smell. So try and think of things that will dry reasonably quickly as well.
The other element to take into that is also, what about mozzies and bugs and stuff?
Yeah, good one.
Because a lot of the time, even if it's not cold, just covering up is the best way to deter mozzies, because you don't always want to, empty a can of DEET on you or whatever, right?
So that's where I like to have those nylon pants. If it is an issue, I can pull them on at night. And if it's bad on a warm night, they're still not too hot to wear on a warm night. And then on the top, almost always have a long sleeve nylon quick dry shirt. That's sun protection. I can wear it as a jacket over a T-shirt for sun protection. You can button it right up for mosquito protection.
Yeah.
You got the collar. Some of them have like a double collar that folds out to give you that sun protection on your neck.
Yep.
Almost always take one of those and then just a few T-shirts go underneath. Not heavy, thick, heavy cotton T-shirts, but maybe some synthetic tops is good, or just cotton T-shirts are usually pretty comfortable. Synthetics get smelly quicker. Cottons tend to last a little bit longer before they get too smelly.
Yeah. I've got a couple of merino shirts that I just hammer.
Merino's great.
Like if you invest in merino, because I'm telling you, I did the overland track in an Aya merino shirt. 8 days, I did not change my shirt.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm not even joking.
Yeah, I've got two
smell.
black merino shirts from an Aussie brand called Otti Merino. I mean, I wore on my long trip, and I'd get up and I'd go, I can wear this another day, and it doesn't fade. It doesn't look old. It doesn't look like it's.
Yeah, I took a second one with me. Took a second one with me because I thought, I'll rotate them and I'll try and wash them. Did not need that second one at all. Yeah. So I just kept it for when we were finished and I could have a shower and put something clean on. But
it'll cost you more up front, but it is worth it.
Get merino for sure.
Now what about?
Sorry, go on.
I was going to move on to like gloves, beanies, hats, those sort of things. But
if it's winter camping, I always take gloves and I always take a beanie. Even if I don't use them, they're so good to have. And I think sometimes if you're feeling a bit, it's like, it's a bit chilly. And especially if you're going for that coziness, there's nothing like putting a pair of gloves and a beanie on to just make you feel lush and cozy. So, and they barely take up any room.
Yep. And
good chunky pairs of socks as well. And I think that's where the Crocs can be really good in winter, especially if it's dry but cold, is that a nice big soft fluffy chunky socks can make you feel really warm. But then if you're jamming your foot into boots or something, it sort of takes away from that warmth of it. But going into something like Crocs, for example, with soft fluffy socks on, heaven. Sun hats, always take a big sun hat.
Yeah, I wear a cap everywhere, but if I'm going somewhere where I know I'm going to be in the sun for long distances, maybe fishing in the boat, always take a broad brim hat. Just that extra sun that it keeps off your face will be beneficial by the end of the day. If you're just kicking around the campsite and you're not in the sun all day, cap's fine. But I think a broad brim hat, bucket hat or something is really important. Yeah,
I've got an old crusty it's got a few holes in it or whatever, but it's actually an old crusty Akubra hat.
Yep.
And I will wear that in winter a lot of the time. Sometimes in summer, not as much because it can get a bit hot. But I also I've got this really cool broad brim hat, but it actually rolls up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I can put my hair up in a bun and then it sort of just wraps around and it's like a broad brim, but it wraps around. But if you're not using it, it rolls up.
Yep.
Because sometimes that's, if you've got a hat, it's where do I put it? Can I just stuff it in my bag? If it's a soft bucket hat, then sure.
The broad brim nylon ones are great. I've got one that I've had for so many years. It's Outdoor Research, but the XTM brand that we've got, they have some. You can just scrunch them up, stuff them in anyway. It's just there in case you need it. There's not extra space. And a Kuba and everything's really good, but sometimes you need to think about where you put that because sometimes you don't want to crush them down.
That's exactly right.
But these hats just stuff in anywhere, roll up, stuff in a little side pocket. They're there if you need them.
It's definitely worth taking a hat, even if you don't think you maybe will need it, because there's nothing worse than getting a bit burnt.
Oh, yeah, you just feel rubbish if you get and heat stroke. Gloves, I like to take gloves. I don't take we're not talking big, thick ski gloves.
No, just a nice thin merino pair.
Or if it is really windy, something windproof like a windstopper glove, but probably just a thin merino layer is enough because by the time you put your hands in those gloves and then put them in your pockets, your jacket, it's going to be warm enough. And beanies always a good one. So.
Totally a little bit off topic of the actual camping, but when I was on the overland track, I thought this was the most hilarious thing ever. But there were people wearing merino glove liners and dishwashing gloves.
Wow.
So the merino liners and then dishwashing gloves hiking in the rain.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've not heard of that.
I've not. First time ever, but there was more than one and they weren't from the same group. So I was like, is this a thing?
I'm trying to see the sense in it. I guess it's windproof. It's waterproof, I suppose, provided you keep your arms angled down.
Windproof and waterproof.
Might get a bit sweaty, but maybe the merino helps manage that.
Merino glove liners.
Never tried it. Interesting. If you know, let us know. Jump on the Facebook group and give us some insights on that one. So that's an interesting one.
Anything we've forgotten about?
Well, we didn't really cover all the mid layer because if you've got a base layer thermal or t-shirts and a shirt are a good versatile option. I like to take a lightweight fleece, and if it's cold, I always take a down jacket, which is like what I want for sitting around at night. I don't want to have to get late at night and go, oh, it's cold, I'm going to go to bed and not sit up and enjoy the stars. I want to be able to sit there and stay warm, and quite often need a big bulky down jacket or take some blankets and stuff to wrap yourself up in.
If I'm camping, I actually don't take a down jacket. If I'm camping, I much prefer a nice big thick chunky fleece.
Yep.
And so I would take, in that particular circumstance, I would have some T-shirts and I might have one or two long sleeve tops because I often will rely, if I need something that's warm, I don't worry about my mid layers because I'm either cold or I'm hot. I'm not ever really a bit of an in-betweener. So usually I just go about my day and then once it starts to get a bit cold, I just chuck my big jumper on. And then I would have a long sleeve because, sometimes, especially if it's windy, even if it's a nice big chunky fleece, the wind can sometimes come a bit through. So if I've got a long sleeve on, totally fine. Yeah, that's mostly what I do. I just roll with my shorts and my T-shirts for 90% of the time and then just take some trackies and a chunky jumper or some leggings over the top.
On the wind too, I guess I take my down jacket because it's also windproof. But if I had a bulky fleece, you could also have the rainbow jackets or once again, XTM have got some just a lightweight rain jacket that's going to protect you from water, but you put that on in the evening if it's windy too. Fleece underneath keeping you warm, jacket over the top cutting out the wind.
Genuine question, how often do you think wind has been a problem for you in camping in terms of keeping yourself warm? Up and about the campsite, because I don't think realistically, if I'm really thinking about it, I can't recall a camping trip where I was sitting there in the wind feeling uncomfortable and cold, because in those sort of situations you would just be like, it's windy, this is a bit crap, let's go to bed.
Yeah, you're right.
Go and have a snuggle.
Or you will have set your campsite up such that you've got a protected area anyway. So
it's mostly only hiking that I have to really consider that side of things. But anyway.
Bit of a broader step back too. Once again, merino. We talked about socks before. If you can get merino socks, merino T-shirts, merino thermals, like merino's really, it costs more, but it is really good.
The other thing that I do take camping with me is buff.
Oh,
and I use that camping
handy.
And hiking, but the buff is really handy because it just gives you, it's weird because you think, why would, like, it doesn't make that big a deal, but it really actually does. Like, you can be in a t-shirt and just think, oh, it's a little bit chilly, and put a buff on just for your neck and you're fine.
Yeah. For those who don't know, a buff's a tube of fabric that generally you put around your neck, but I use mine as a beanie, sun protection. I use it as a pillowcase. I use it as a panhandler. Don't use the synthetic ones for panhandler. I learned that the hard way. They got a merino one. Once again, merino.
Again, mine's merino,
You could put your hands in it to warm them up. Like, it's just a tube of useful fabric.
Just so versatile. I love it.
Face washer.
Everything.
Yeah, does all sorts. So, yeah. There's lots of options there. If you pack everything we've mentioned, you're going to have too many clothes, but you'll probably be able to look through what you've already got in the cupboard. You don't need, as you mentioned before, you don't need to go and buy all this technical clothing for general camping.
True.
You've probably got enough in your wardrobe already. You just need to think about the layers and how you're going to use them together.
Yep, definitely.
Cool. Thanks, Heather.
Thanks, Heather.
For the question.
Catch you later next time.
If we haven't already, we'll get a subby cooler on its way to you.
Thanks, Heather.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Catch you later.
Bye.